Hello everybody, this is Renault. Today I'm going to do a quick food and drink review from Olive Garden. So today, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to get, but to eat anyway. But to get started to drink, I have a peach tea and a white Zinfandel. So this Sunday, I'll give you a quick review of that. Thank you so much and stay tuned. Hello again. So I just got my soup. It's a zuppa toscana. I just had a little bit of my white Zinfandel, and of course my breadsticks have arrived. There's a little bit of my peach tea. My waiter was kind enough to just refill it. Thank you so much once again. And I'm a pepper fiend, so I'm gonna put a bunch of this inside. 1 second. Alright, so yes, I just spent about 30 seconds putting pepper in there. Like I said, I wasn't joking, I am a pepper fiend. Alright, so I will get back to you in just a minute. Thanks for watching, 1 second. Alright, so this is the main course. It's lemon herb crusted salmon with garlic broccoli. And I had my waiter put some cheese on there too. And as you can see, my breadsticks and wine are gone because I drunk them all. Could stand to go for some more peach tea. Guess my waiter just didn't quite see it. But that's okay, because I'm going to put some pepper on this. 1 second. Alright. Yes, I did spend about 15 seconds putting pepper on this broccoli and cheese, but I can kind of don't need as much pepper on my broccoli. I love putting pepper in my soups. Put a little bit of pepper on my lemon and herb crusted salmon, but this is going to be a slog. It's still veggies, and I'm a carnivore. But I'm going to have to chip away at it. Anyway, I'll be back. Hello, hello, hello. One last time. So for dessert, I'm getting the warm apple crostata. It's kind of like an Italian apple pie with ice cream on top. I'm really excited for this because I love apple pie. It kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know what it's called, like strudel, I guess, where it had the ice cream on top and the ice cream melts into the apple and it gets mixed in and it's great. I'm also getting the 4-cheese lasagna rodata with meat sauce, but that's not going to be for me. That's going to be for one of my housemates. Anyway, the final review will be just when I get home. Thank you so much for watching so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back in just a minute. Hello, hello, hello! This is Renault, and I'm home now to finish off doing my review of food for Olive Garden. I had like kind of a 3-course meal on this one. Felt really fancy, etc., etc. Now, as a quick reminder, I started out with just some peach tea and a white Zinfandel. Then I had a soup, zuppa toscana, as an appetizer or meal before your meal, whatever. Then for the main course, I had the lemon and herb roasted salmon with broccoli and cheese and pepper. I finished things off with an apple crostata, with like a Italian apple pie with ice cream. So, how was the meal? Overall, oof, a little bit disappointing. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Olive Garden. When I was studying for my property and casualty exam, uh, I would have to go into work, and it was just giving me 40 hours to study and do whatever. I didn't have to clock in or out, so I enjoyed actually going to Olive Garden every day as a real refresher, because normally I get only a 30-minute lunch, and I can't really just savor the Olive Garden experience, but, you know, my job was giving me technically 40 hours to study, so hell, I'd have an hour and a half long lunch. But don't worry, I was studying at home to make sure I passed it. But anyway, so I have fond memories of Olive Garden, and I was really excited to be back, because it had been a long time since I've been to Olive Garden ever since I studied for my exam. So, you know, those fond memories of studying and passing for that test, I really take inspiration from what Olive Garden was pretty much, I consider, there for me. And I wanted to be there for Olive Garden with my first, well, not really my first food review, but my first, you know, sit-down dinner review. Or sit-down meal. Whatever. And I'm sad that it's disappointing. But anyway, let's go into the specifics of why that happened. So, while I was at Olive Garden, I enjoyed my peach tea, but for some reason or another, my peach tea seemed a little bit watery. That peach flavor was not as robust as I remember it being. I think maybe they were putting too much water in there, and it never dawned on me to ask, hey, can you put no more ice in here? But either way, that was kind of saddening. And my white Zinfandel, I'm not really a wine specialist. I'm not going to pretend that that's the case. But when I drank my white Zinfandel, I get a couple of sips or whatever, and it was alright. And then I wanted to just hurry up and drink it, just so that it wasn't there anymore. Then so I was like halfway done, and then I just drank it down. And when I just drank it down, the white Zinfandel just kind of had a pretty strong alcohol taste. Now, I was really surprised by that, so I guess maybe when it comes to wine, to truly appreciate all the levels of wine, you're supposed to just drink it like in tiny bits. Because when I was drinking it in tiny bits for the first half of that glass, it was a truly enjoyable wine. It's just drinking it down to just finish it off, it left that taste that I didn't enjoy. So that was I won't hold that against Olive Garden. Maybe I'll just hold that to my own inexperience with wine, because I don't drink wine very often, but I figured I would treat myself, just because I kind of felt that this was a little bit of a celebratory meal. And so then I had my Zuppa Toscana, and I have no complaints about the Zuppa Toscana. Yes, I'm a pepper fiend. You might have saw earlier. I put a gangbusters of pepper in there, but that's how I like pretty much all of my soups. You give me tomato soup, I'm going to put a lot of pepper in there. You give me chicken noodle soup, I'm going to put a lot of pepper in there. So the Zuppa Toscana was fine, and I don't put like the pepper in there to mask any sort of flavor, just because I genuinely like putting pepper in my soup. I go crazy a little bit, and I never seem to overdo it, because it seems possible to overdo how much pepper I put in there. Like, no matter how much pepper I put in a soup, it's never too much. So, congratulations there. My waiter did offer me refills, because a lot of the time what people do is they'll just do refills on their soup and salad and fill up on that, and then take their main course home, but I didn't want to do that. Especially since I was going to get a take-home meal as it was for my housemate, and so, let's not do that. So then on to my main course. which was the lemon and herb crusted salmon. And I enjoyed the lemon and herb crusted salmon, but for some reason, once again, the flavor was not quite as robust as I would like. I mean, I've had like some awesomely flavored salmon, but this just wasn't doing it for me. I would have quite literally much rather just had a blackened salmon so I could have a little bit of crunch. I figured you give me less flavor and a little bit of crunch, and I probably would have actually enjoyed it more, even though it wasn't have been as flavorful. Speaking of which, the salmon was competently done. It just wasn't quite seasoned to my liking. Again, a little bit of a heartbreaking there. And I had no problem with the broccoli and cheese. But, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm a huge fan of broccoli. But, you know, it's there. It's healthy. I am doing, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there to try and lose weight. It's not as good as exercise, but, you know, I could have mashed potatoes, or I could have some broccoli. If I can be just as happy with broccoli or mashed potatoes, might as well take the broccoli. It's healthier, even after I put all that cheese on it. So, no problems there. But the real disappointment, the real downer of the day, was that apple Crostata. Crostata? You know what? Let me just look up what it's actually called. Just a second. Garden apple Crostata? Just a second. I want to make sure I'm Crostata. Apple Crostata. That's what it's called. Olive Garden apple Crostata. So the Crostata. Let's start quite literally from the top. The Crostata came with the ice cream, and it had like a caramel drizzling on it. Now again, the caramel drizzling and the ice cream was actually the best part of that dessert, and that's because the ice cream wasn't regular vanilla. For those in the know, there's actually regular vanilla, and then there's French vanilla. French vanilla has a different taste. It's very rich. I don't know how to describe it other than it's French vanilla is just like, let's just take this vanilla flavor and bring it to the max. Whereas regular vanilla, it's obviously watered down or dumbed down. French vanilla, I would consider the true vanilla flavor, because it's not thinned out or anything. It's vanilla. And so the ice cream was like, it wasn't full French vanilla. I just want that to be clear. But it was like a French vanilla, regular vanilla mix, which is fine. That's still better than just regular vanilla ice cream. So that was the best part. But then when it comes to the apple crostata itself, while I was eating it, I was talking about how, you know, one of the things I really love to do is to let the hot apple pie or whatever, and then put the ice cream on top, and as the ice cream melts, it gets into the apple crumble, and then you've got, like, not just apple crumble, you've got apple vanilla crumble, and it just tastes so good. That hot and that cold, they come together, and it's not too hot, not too cold, just warm, just right. But with this crostata and how it's set up, the ice cream melts, but then as it melts, it kind of gets all over the place. And so my options were to just eat that ice cream as soon as possible, and then not have that mixture, or just have the crostata and let it get all over the place. So I opted to eat the ice cream just as soon as possible, then eat the crostata. And I have to say, I don't know what's going on, but that crostata was quite disappointing. There was way too much high of a ratio of the crust to filling ratio on that sucker. I had way too much crust. And it was just like, wow, There are a lot of things I would. Well, there's actually not that many things. I don't really get a dessert very often at all, because I would be just as happy to grab some cookies. But you know, this was kind of a celebratory meal, so way to be a real downer there, Apple Crostata. You, more than anything, ruined that meal. Speaking of meals, I did talk about the meal that I took home to my housemate. I would highly recommend the $5 just like take home thing. Even if it's just a simple spaghetti or a simple, I got the royartha, but whatever. Just get it. You're already there for $5. You're getting a half meal because it's not because the little $5 take homes when you have a sit down meal. It's only $5. It's a steal. Plus, you know, you can just save it for later. I mean, like I said, I gave it to my housemate. But anyway, overall, a little bit disappointing, but largely because of that crostata. I mean, without the dessert, it would have actually been a much better meal. So, there you go. I learned something today. I will not be getting a dessert from now on at Olive Garden, because I can just as easily get some cookies. Heck, or even a little Debbie cake or whatever. Anyway, wow, 12 minutes? Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And goodbye and good eats.